No, I'm not going to forget this time. I'm not going to forget to put my headset on because I ranted for people that know the show. I ranted for last time for a while and realized I didn't have the headset on. Anyway, um, I'm privileged to have the visit of a 5-year-old come over my place the other day, pick up something on the table, and she goes, What's this? Why do you have this here?" And she takes this out. She says, "What? Like what is this?" Looking at me like I'm some moron or something. And she puts it back down, and her face was like one of disgust. And okay. I looked at her and I said, "Well, because I have this other piece that's called the top." And I said, um, "I have something written on it that I want to look at all the time because that's what I want from my life. You know how people are sick?" She goes, "Yeah." I said, "Well, I'm imagining meeting somebody someday and finding, finding a beautiful necklace somewhere and giving it to that person special." And she's looking at me going, "Oh man." But I told her, I said, healing is what I like, and that's. I think I'm going to take a picture and show you because that's what I have on my table, in between the candles in the candle holder that my mother had on the table for a long time while I was growing up. Something else I want to remind people, and this is my show. Yes, I can say what I want, right? No, this is a show that I'd like to. I keep saying this. I turn on record and I say to myself, what would I want to hear right now? What would I be looking for? What would I want to hear? Soothing words or hardcore truth? What? Well, um, my message this week, I don't know what I'm going to call this yet. I don't have a title yet, but this is all about the move from healing towards sickness again. And I could say it in 3 words or less, but it's too important not to address this in length. So I'm going to go very quickly, as quick as I can, but it's all about chronicling everything, right? This is what this show is supposed to be about, chronicling everything. Sorry, I have a cough right now. That's what we're doing. We're chronicling everything, good and bad. Well, imagine yourself sitting in the lazy boy. You just smoked a doobie. You're not feeling any pain at all. You feel connected as hell. It's 8 o'clock at night, and you're writing profusely. I don't think I've ever seen my one finger uh, type so fast, and hardly making errors. That's very rare for me. I always have to go back and clean up my errors all the time when I see them after the fact. And next time I looked up at the clock, it was midnight, and I hadn't moved. And I was really uh, connected. In other words, I was really writing strong. I felt something was just pushing me to get stuff out, and it was really hard. It was a really uh, moving experience, to say the least. And the next day was normal, and then all of a sudden, uh, that night, it was like blood clot city. All of a sudden, and I couldn't make the connection, and I literally had 4, 5 blood clots come out one after the other. Like almost not making it out through the urethra, urethra. I can never get that word right. So it was really scary. And then when I stopped to think about my own series and what I'm showing people and what I want to share with people, it's like, yeah, take a good dose of your own medicine, dude. Look at what happened. Look at what just happened. 4 hours. Intensive writing. What happens? Intensive bodily reaction. And it freaked me out so bad that it pushed me back to those times when it was pressure down there on the sides and I had to sit down and take it easy in the lazy boy, et cetera, et cetera. It was no joke. And I wanted to share that this week because it literally is going to cost you. You know, that's what creators saying. You know, okay, you want to write well, you want to connect, it's going to cost you. You better be prepared, and that's what it is. It's proportional either way. You do good, it's going to cost you. You do bad, it's going to cost you either way. So um, it was a real heads up for me this week, and the phone's ringing. So we go out for coffee. My neighbor and I, and she's in her 90s. I'm going to call her Carol. She she watches me go, and I shared that with her. I told her what happened, and she said, you know, she leans over to me and she says, you know, you're much more effective if you don't push all the time. She says, balance, you know, and balance, you know, and I went, you know, and it's true. Pushing all the time and balance, it makes a lot of sense. So I wanted to touch on that this week. And I also wanted to touch on something that I loved discussing with Diane Doucette in my last show last week, which was on, we touched on fear, fear mongering. We touched on, you know, propaganda, all that good stuff. But we touched on fear in particular. And there's my neighbor again looking at me, you know, who has her, she has her nose in the Bible all the time. She's always reading the Bible all day long. Talk about a good Christian, you know. She says to me, uh, fear is the opposite of faith. And fear has dis-ease with it, right? You live in fear, you're feeding fear, so you're feeding dis-ease, D-I-S with a star, ease, you know, dis-ease because it's the opposite of ease. And you know, so I'm an investigative journalist. It's not going to be much fun for me, but that's what's happening. My body and I are coming at a crossroads. It's like, okay, what are you going to do? You want to be more effective as a journalism and as a journalist and really dig in, or do you want to heal? Or if it is just a matter of healing, or what? Is it a matter of just being, you know, realizing who I am and this is how sensitive I am and this is what's going to happen if I keep digging? I don't know. And this is what's interesting because I'm sharing that with y'all, and um, I want to be as effective as I can. Yes. So, you know, I'm kind of listening to my body, you know, pushing my spirit. My body's going, you know. So you can't trick either one of them. You know, you can't play. So it should be interesting what's going to happen because with the way the world's going now, and see, this is the thing she was saying to me too. You don't want to push fear. You don't want to encourage fear. You know, in the Bible, like they did in Moses' time, they put the blood on the door. You know, stay in and close the door. Hear the wails of the people crying and everything. Don't open the door, and it will pass. What does that sound like? Self-imposed isolation and self-isolate, and you know. Anyway, so this is going to be another show. I'm going to have Roger Landry on here. He doesn't know it yet, but we're going to have a free fall discussion on what's going on with coronavirus. And the beautiful thing about everything is, I keep telling people, if you don't encourage fear, if you don't let fear inside your home, okay, what's going to happen is that you're going to be like, oh, okay, so let's do the opposite of fear. Let's talk about positive. Let's talk about um, giving solutions or giving scenarios, since nobody knows really unless you're the people doing it. Nobody really does know, and that's how the whole thing is engineered to begin with. So you think, okay, uh, I don't know, so I'm telling everybody I don't know. So I'm saying, okay, well, there's this scenario here that we're discussing, then there's this scenario here, and then there's this one scenario over here. And as you go along, you realize, oh, maybe that one doesn't work. Maybe this one is, maybe we're feeding too much into that one. This is what a good journalist does. It's balance. Everything is about balance. Healing is about balance. Fear is about balance. Growth is about balance. This is what my 92-year-old neighbor is trying to smack me in the head with, trying to make me figure out. So we're much more effective if we use balance, right? And that's the name of the game. That was a hard lesson, wasn't it? Damn. Something I did one time too, and I have to share it with you. I did a really, really good rant, and I'm looking at my screen. I'm looking at the camera. I'm looking at the screen, and I'm talking, and I'm doing really well. I'm looking at the camera, and then I get that cold chill. Uh-oh. I look up, and it says, recording paused, and cut. What the hell was that all about, Luca?